Hello, hello, hello. Happy Thursday, everybody. It is beautiful out here, but it is really sunny. So I'm like I'm struggling like standing in the sun. I think it'll be better when I sit, but that's gonna be pretty bright. But hopefully I can handle it. It's wonderful. I'm gonna be able to tan really soon. So let me do a little nunchucks and then I'm gonna pop a squat because it is uncomfortable. Like I don't know if it'll be better when I. Oh, this is when we used to do. I used to have to give my umbrella. I remember this now.
Not quite yet, though.
Almost. Yeah, but it's because of the sun in my eyes. I have such sensitive eyes. I have hazel gray eyes, which are terrible in the sun. Like I can't see at all. Like I'm like blind if I don't have sunglasses on in the sun. Like I can't see. Like my eyes, they like haze over. Right, I don't see anything. Like it's so sad. Like I can't see. Like I'm like. Oh. And it's weird because we lived in Vegas for about a year before I got sunglasses. I don't know how I functioned. I still don't. I mean, I don't. We were walking and everything. Maybe I was wearing hats. I don't know what I was doing. Oh, well, I don't know. Is this because now I'm like I don't know. Maybe as I gotten older, but I can't. And I have good eyesight, but when it's bright, nope. It's like they just go away, like black holes. Okay, I do some nunchucks. This is great for just like kind of like it's like my meditation and coordination, I guess. You know, just kind of getting yourself in a zone of just like I have so much to tell you guys about like a meeting and stuff today. So, and I feel like the nunchucks are just very like therapeutic for me. So here we go.
Mothers SOS wants to know, have you ever watched your videos? Do you watch your videos after you do your live stream?
Nope. I don't watch my videos.
Like,
I know I should. I mean, I watched them once in a blue moon if they ever like popped up and like they just happened to, but it's not like something I seek out. But that was rare. I mean, I've probably watched like 4 ever. I know I probably could learn a lot by watching myself. It's too boring for me, so I don't know how you guys do it. I'm like, I am bored.
You think you're boring.
I know, I'm like, how you guys do it? I can't sit down that long to listen to the Joy ramble. Gee, I am bored myself for sure. Oh my goodness. It's true. I could never sit through my whole life. I've never watched an entire one too either. I mean, I've watched like a couple of minutes of one if it started. Because Richard will put on YouTube and then our stuff will start. Annette loves when that happens. She's like, oh, you guys are on TV. Sometimes it's her. She doesn't always like that. Because she's like, she feels ugly. One of our goals is to try to get her the implants in any way possible because I don't know if there's some funding we could get for it because they're so expensive, but she really wants them. She didn't want them in the beginning, now she really wants them, and it's like, it's so hard. So we're in the works with that. But that's what's making her not feel pretty. But she's actually looking great these days. I think she looks great, but I know she wants teeth. That would be helpful. Poor thing. Okay, let me do a little more nunchucks, and then I'll pop a squat and have a chat with you guys and tell you about my day. I'm excited about my day. It was a really good day. Let's do a little more nunchucks and then we'll pop squat. Let me find a good spot. Is this good over here, Rich?
Wherever you'd like.
Is it?
Camera this way.
What looks
Face
good?
The sun. Face the sun, basically.
Oh. There we go. Okay.
Well, you have some people giving their opinions on growth.
Oh yes, I have so many things to tell you guys. Actually, hold on. I have some very positive things that happened today.
And an older woman is saying, as a woman, you need to grow and blossom.
Thank you.
And she's suggesting that we've been living as if we're in our 20s. You're in your 20s.
Yeah, no, I remember even Gloria said when I turned 40, she's like, you're not a little girl anymore, which was this year. And I just kind of like.
Yeah, if you continue living in your thinking like you're in your 20s, it kind of stunts your growth as a woman.
Yeah, so, yeah, anyways. Okay, thank you everybody for that. It's very true.
Triggerman says, good morning.
Good morning, Triggerman.
And he says, if you don't love these two, then there's something wrong with you.
Oh, thank you, Trigger Man. That's a really, really nice thing to say. I really appreciate that. I really appreciate you guys. You know, Richard was just saying today that the comments have changed so much on the channel. Like, it's pretty much all positive. He's like, you could pretty much look at him now. Like, not just with the lies, but like, I had a hard time looking that often. I would look sometimes, but I would start looking at comments. There'd be positive ones, and there'd be such negative ones. On YouTube, so Richard a lot of times would just read them to me and then respond what I said to say. Because, like, if I went to look, I would get very down on the amount of negativity coming in. And it's like, I try not to get angry, but back then I was very angry. And so I'm actually realizing, like, today, like, I'm really letting go of my anger, which is, like, huge, because I have been angry at, like, everyone and everything, and especially my family. That's why I was, like, ranting about them when I was in New York, because I just was angry. Like, I was just angry, and I just don't have to be angry anymore. And I keep knowing that, but then, like, it's sinking in more and more. Like, I think I even said this the other day, but, like, today it was like, oh my gosh, like, I really don't have to be angry anymore. And I told Richard the things that I was angry at him about, and, you know, at first he got a little upset about it, because, you know, it's hard to, you know, but then it was good. Like, it was like that. I think I was scared to say the things all this time that I was angry about, thinking he was going to get really upset. And, yeah, he got a little upset, but it was just a couple months ago, and we were, like, over it. And then it was coming out in other ways, you know what I mean? And that's how I was dealing with everything in my life. Was I was never telling someone when I was angry at them, except for, like, on the blog, I was ranting at everybody. But I'm saying, like, in my personal life, I usually just didn't communicate if I was angry at someone. But then when I drank, I hate you, and I had this laundry list of things that I'm angry about. That some of them are valid, some are totally not valid, you know, because I was irrational. But some things were valid, you know, where I might, but I need to get over it, you know, I forget who said that or this morning about the growing up. Yeah, but I know we were acting like we were in twins. Even, yeah, it was like literally when I turned 40 was a really huge, like, it was weird. Like, and then, you know, it's crazy stuff has still happened since I've turned 40. But I did start to realize, like, this was the unraveling of my immaturity. Like, this year, I mean, even when I was drinking, I knew it was not going to last for long. It lasted longer than I thought it would, but I knew it was not going to be a lifetime thing, because I just don't want to live a life like that. And I wasn't willing to ever live like a life like that, like, long term. I was just in this really weird, I just didn't care. And I just was angry and hated everybody and just, like, F everybody kind of thing. And I just don't feel that today. Like, I feel, like, such a calmness over me. And even, like, expressing what I was angry about, instead of, like, it becoming, like, a huge fight where then I'm, like, screaming it when I'm angry. But, like, you know, it's just, this is what I was angry about. But, you know, a lot of it was, you know, about, like, we had a conversation about a lot of things this morning. And that's part of, like, when you're in AA is honesty, and, you know, you gotta, you know, you have to, first, you know, kind of acknowledge what you did wrong, you know, but then later you make amends to people. And so, you know, I actually, okay, so good news, I got a sponsor today. I'm so excited. It's the lady I was talking about. Well, it wasn't the original lady I was talking about. So there was the original lady I was talking about from my 7 a.m. meeting. But then, you know, she doesn't come that often, and I can see she's very, you know, involved in a lot of stuff, and I think she's just very busy. And I never asked her. I did talk to these other two ladies that they were busy, but this lady, I just kind of was like, you know, I'm looking for someone that doesn't, you know, have like I don't want them to have too much time for me, because then there was a lady that wanted to be my sponsor, and she was just like too much for me. Like, it was like that day she wanted to go to coffee, and I was like, well, I don't even drink coffee, but it was just too bad. I was like, this lady said text me, and then we'll chat at 2 p.m. What time is it? We're gonna chat at 2 p.m. This blog started much later than I thought. Okay, good. Okay, 2 p.m. I don't know, but she has a very unique name. I'm not going to tell her name because it's Alcoholics Anonymous. But also, it's such a unique name that I feel like these stalkers could almost find her in Las Vegas. But it's such a unique name that I can see it's written down because I got the phone list, but I can see how you spell it, but I keep asking me, like, how you pronounce it? And so it's not that hard of a name. It's just unique in the way she says it. And so I'm like, I gotta get her name right. But she's really nice. She goes there with her husband. She's probably in her 50s, probably, if I would guess. I don't think much older than that. She could be in her 60s, but she looks pretty good. If she's in her 60s, she looks really good for her 60s, you know? But she looks like she's in her 50s. But she was running the meeting today, and I had said I wanted to ask her if she was here today. And we've been going every other day, so today was the 8 a.m. meeting, which is great because two of the guys from our other meeting were there, and it's always so, it's like crazy, like such a like family you become with these meetings. That's why we can't decide. We have to keep going back and forth. But I hate that we're not going to each of them every day, because I want to see these people every day, and some people do that, and that's what we were doing when we didn't have two meetings. Now we're going every other day, but to us we're going every day, you know, but to other people they're only seeing us, you know, half the time now at both meetings. But I thought, you know, so I won't be back to this meeting till Saturday now, because tomorrow we're going to go to our 7 a.m. And she was doing the meeting today, and I said, you know, I just got to ask her today. Like, because I was going to ask her the other day, and then I ended up not getting to talk to her. I was talking to some other lady, and it was just one of those things I was like, but I was scared. Like, I was really, well, one thing, you're asking a big thing of that person. You know, they got to really care about you now and, you know, really help you, and they're committing to you. So you want to get the right person. So it did take me a second to find the right person, because I thought about a lot of other people, but it just, I don't know, it just wasn't the right fit. But this lady I really like, and I'm excited, and I feel really good about it. So I don't know what we're going to do, because she's going to tell me what to do. That's the point. I listen to her. And today was a really, really good meeting. I shared, by choice, this meeting. You don't have to share. I was actually the last person to share. I didn't realize it was going to be the absolute last one, but it felt really good today. Like, it just, I don't know, like, I'm just really feeling committed to everything of, like, bettering my life and staying sober. And, you know, it's scary because right now, like, financially, we're struggling pretty good in the sense of, like, we're really having to watch every penny, you know, and really not have anything other than, like, gas and food pretty much for things to buy other than bills, you know, and household supplies, you know. Like, we ended up luckily having to return some to Amazon so I could order paper towels and the bunny litter. You know, bunnies are not cheap either. And, you know, I would have, okay, we were not doing financially perfect when we got Casper. We would have never chose, because animals are expensive. But this just fell into my lap, and I love that little guy. Oh my God. He's doing so good. We do not give him any more kibbles. We both have to, like, ask each other, like, you haven't? And I'm like, no. And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, no. Because we both were sneaking from each other, and that's why Casper was playing us both, too. You get me to give him some, and Rich to get fat. Because we were only giving him a tiny bit at the end, because the vet said we had to wean him off this one bunny. She said the kibbles, you know, the pellets, ultimately are not good for the older bunnies, because they're not chewing anything when they do the pellets. They're basically, it's almost like liquid. They're like almost like swallowing it, you know, like one bite, swallow, because they're these tiny little things. They can very much swallow them whole. Whereas the other things they have to chew, which she said is really good for bunnies, they need to, like, chew the lettuce. She said even the lettuce, because she said the carrots, yeah, those are too much sugar. We stopped the carrots a while ago, but we give him primarily hay now. We actually got him to eat some hay, which is so awesome. I'll tell you about that in a second. But she said the lettuce is actually really good because he's crunching, like, and that's good for his jaws and digestion and stuff. But I guess they also, like, their teeth get messed up if they don't use them to crunch a lot. I guess they have to really, so when he's doing only pellets, so she was seeing he was getting a little, like, so, but he's such a little sneaker. But anyways, he's doing really good because he's starting to lose weight since he's not getting all those pellets, but, which the vet said he was overweight. But the thing is, we got him to eat hay because Richard searched to find the best hay this time. We're like, okay. He actually used, you know, the AI, and we got this one, and we pretty much took away everything else. Like, he once in a blue moon gets lettuce, rarely. And so he's just like, all right, and he's actually, I get so excited every morning when I wake up, and then there he is. But it's like, as soon as he sees us, he thinks he wants something else, but he's getting less used to that because we've stopped feeding him the extra stuff that he wasn't supposed to have. Like, it's been like about a week, so he's starting to get out of that habit, and so he's just more relaxed. But I'm really happy to see him feeling better. He's jumping more and stuff because I didn't realize, that I thought what I was doing was, making him happy, but ultimately, it was harmful for him. So, and I think that was, how I was going with a lot of things in my life. I knew things were harmful. I shared today, I was like, I've never really had a problem admitting I was alcoholic. Once I was 22, I got my DUI. That was not a problem for me. And I almost used it as my badge of honor. Like, I'm an alcoholic, so you just have to deal with it. Like, if I drank too much, be like, yeah, because I'm an alcoholic. Yeah, I know, I'm an alcoholic. Okay, and I've been sober many, many, many times throughout my life. It wasn't like I've been this belligerent alcoholic for the last 40 years, thank goodness. But the times I drank, I was a belligerent alcoholic. And I'm still, always alcoholic, but belligerent, anyways. Probably belligerent maybe when I was sober, as you guys have seen.
Some good chatters here. People saying that once you start working the program, I promise you that you're going to start feeling good about yourself, and your whole life is going to turn around.
Yeah. In
the world, you'll see it because of your decisions you make for yourself.
I know. I'm really loving these meetings. Like, now I'm so connected with both meetings where, like, I walk in and I'm like so excited to see certain people. And it's funny how certain people just connect. And it doesn't necessarily mean they're attractive. It doesn't necessarily mean their age. It doesn't necessarily, it's like just certain people. And each meeting I have those people, I'm just like, gotta go give them a hug and stuff. And it's like,
a year from now, your journey is going to be great. Just keep moving forward.
And a lot of them are men, because that's the main things are very heavily men-based. So I asked Rich, I was like, is it okay if I hug men in meetings? Like, is that appropriate as a married woman and stuff? But I think you're supposed to hug each other. But it's always like, it's an interesting thing. But it's mainly men, so they all hug you.
I promise that if you get a part-time job, a regular job, even if it's only $800 a month, your whole life will change. You're going to feel so good about yourself. I promise.
All right. Anyways, so I've had many normal jobs. That wasn't what brought me happiness, but I appreciate the input. Thank you.
But there's no shortcut, and I've heard there's no fast money. People change. I get it.
Yeah. My job isn't what didn't bring me happiness or did. It's been what I chose to do, and it's brought me a lot of happiness. But I was upset about a lot of other things. So it would, regardless of my job, would have made a difference whether I was an alcoholic and angry. Like, it was going to happen whether I was doing real estate or a cocktail waitress or barista or working for the doctors. I mean, I did all those other things. I worked for the doctors that we opened I say we because I was their only employee, and I was the one that researched everything while they were ER physicians at Providence Hospital in
Chad has your back.
Tigard in Portland. Which is kind of the same thing, Tigard, Portland.
Good job.
Yeah. But Tigard's kind of the outskirt of Portland, but on the maps, like when your address, it can say Tigard or Portland, because that's where the clinic was in Tigard, or either one we got the address, whether someone put Tigard or Portland. But I was a concierge, and that's how I met Richard. So I've done like a lot of jobs. I've done a ton of jobs. So it's not that like you guys think it's like my job that was like, I actually enjoy my job. So I don't know if I'll stop. I will when I want to. But I mean, Richard's doing his thing now, but I still like doing my job. People like want to like do this like kind of be my savior, and it's not what I need from you. You know what I mean? Like, I make my choices, but just because you don't like my job doesn't mean that if I stop my job, that's going to bring me happiness, because you're not me. My job has actually brought me a lot of happiness. One thing, I had to go to Manhattan, which I would have never got to go to. It just wouldn't have been something that would have ever, because, I was back to, so I was a concierge, and that's why I met Richard, because he he owned the bodega, like convenience store below the condo, and he had a condo, which the biggest balcony. He had the best condo. He was Bala. But I met him in 2009 when I was a concierge, and I only was a concierge for about 6 months because there was this doctor that lived in the building that wanted me, because he's like, you're so great at this and you clearly can do more than this. I'm like, yeah, well, I was in the Air Force for 4 years. I mean, I can do more than an executive assistant. I was in real estate for like 7 years. You know, being a concierge is like a joke to me, and delivering people's mail, yeah, I think I can handle that. But some people can't handle it. So I was like the best concierge. I could open the door for people. Woo! But he was like, I can tell you're a fantastic employee. So he's like, me and this other doctor were ER physicians at Providence. We want to open a knee injection clinic, a non-surgical knee injection clinic for people that want alternatives to knee surgery, because knee surgery doesn't necessarily heal your knee. It can actually cause a lot more problems long term. So it's primarily like with athletes and stuff. But it was like a brand new thing. Like there was this injection called Euflexa, which is like you're replacing the hyaluronic acid in your knee, and that's what depletes as you get older, and that's where you get like bone on bone, because there's this hyaluronic acid that coats in between your bones, and it depletes as you get older, and especially with injury. It's like a lot of like football and basketball athletes get really bad knee problems, and surgery isn't always the best option. So this injection just replaces the hyaluronic acid, and then so now you don't have the bone on bone, which is causing the pain and discomfort, and then you can get back to like working out and get your stuff working. Because a lot of times people can't work out once they have a bad injury. So my dad, and then they had these things like kinetic. I can't remember the name of these things anymore. These been so many years ago. But there was these knee braces that were they were nice because they weren't like huge knee braces. They were like, you literally wear them under your pants. Like my dad could fit it under his jeans. So but it really helped like shape your knee. It wasn't just like for pain. It was like molding your knee back in place. Like the knee brace was fitted to your knee to get your knee back in place. Like my dad's knee was out of place, and by helping the doctors open the clinic, like my dad actually had to, I ordered the X-ray machine. My dad's an X-ray tech, so he had to show the doctors how to use the X-ray machine and everything. Like I had to get everything. I didn't know what I was doing either, and I just had to research. And they're like, just go. I mean, I would ask their questions and advice, but it was pretty fun. But anyways, the best thing was I got to help my dad, and it was free for my dad because he had helped them, and he would have never got that done for himself. And so he got to ride his bike for many more years. Even though we don't talk anymore, I was always happy about that because he was in a lot of pain. He had injured it because he was a runner in high school. My dad ran a 4:19 mile. I was a runner, not that fast, not even close. I was running like 6:20 miles. I think is my best ever. Yeah. But I only did 1 year of track because I didn't like it. My dad had done like all 4 years of track till he injured himself. I don't like this sport. Yeah, I was in pain all the time when I ran track. I felt like I was like 80 years old in high school, and like as a freshman, I was like, no, this is not fun. But anywho, so I ended up working for those doctors, and that was a great experience. When I left, they made me write like a 200-page manual on how to like run everything, because I was running everything in the office. I left because it was just too much after a while. Like, it was putting too much on me, because I would just take on everything with jobs. Oh, sure, I'll do that. Oh, yeah, sure, I'll do that. I mean, I had the office phone forwarding to my cell phone 24 hours a day, so I'd be like, and I was drinking back then. I'd be like, I had a bar, and you got people calling about setting an appointment. I let those go voicemail most of the time, but you're like, everything was, and they knew I drank and stuff, but they would just like, everything was to be, so I was there all day, and then it was like, oh, then we'll forward the office to your phone when do you leave? And I was like, I was only paid like hourly. It was like they really were taking advantage of me, but it was a great experience. But when me and Rich first got together, I was actually back in real estate, because we didn't get together when I lived at the building. I just knew him then, and I used to shop at his convenience store. It was called Towers, which, if you know our last name, I didn't know that for a long time either. Like I didn't know he owned it. I knew he lived there. He always kind of flirted with me a little bit, but he had a fiance. Not like just flirting, like he's a flirty guy, like his personality not like anything like inappropriate, a fiance. So it was just like, he'd be like, he called me Joy, I think. And he asked me, he's like, are you Irish? I'm like, I don't know. And he's like, well, what's your last name? And I told him, and which my maiden name. He's like, oh my gosh, you don't know if you're Irish? And but turns out actually, no one ever told me my heritage really, well, nothing. My last name is Scottish. It's not Irish. But it sounds like it's an Irish name. And he was like, I don't know how you don't know if you're Irish. Like, you literally look like totally Irish. But I am. I'm half Irish. Well, I'm half Irish, half Scottish, and a tiny bit Native American, which I don't know the tribe. I'm like, no one told me anything. I was shut out from all that, from my family. I mean, I tried to ask them. They don't even want to talk to me. A lot of secrets and weird stuff in my family. They'll shut you out if you try to open too many doors with questions. Like, no one calls you back. Like, I was asking my uncle, if he could tell me a little bit about my Native American past, and then never got a phone call again from anyone else in the family after that. It's just, I don't know, weird. But I actually am starting to kind of like fully embrace it. I'm very happy with my life, and I'm very happy the way my life went. I've had a lot of ups and downs, but people think that like by me stopping this job is going to bring me happiness. It won't. This job actually is what I need. I like this in a weird way. Like, it works for me, and it works for me rich, and it's worked for a long time. There's times it didn't work as well, like when the economy is not so well, or the pandemic. But, we adjust, and, we have times that we have, a lot, and times that we don't have a lot at all. And we have both extremes, and it's fun to have both. And people go, oh, you guys need to save for the time. But that's not how we live our life. We get what we need for the day, and if there's something that we think that is appropriate for now, even other people wouldn't find it appropriate, like, oh, your headphones, or this or that. Some things, like, make such a difference in our life around here that are, like, to other people seem like Richard getting his computers has like changed our world, you know what I mean? And people didn't understand, why is he getting computers? One thing is his job now, so. But it's like, there's certain things that just can like make life so much better. But yeah, when you're really poor, you can't have those. And there's times like right now, we can never afford to. I mean, we're like hoping we can have groceries tomorrow, you know what I mean? But we don't plan for the future. I like living day by day, and that's the AA thing, 24 hours at a time, 1 hour at a time, 1 day at a time, but 24 hours. And the more I like let go and let God, as they say, there's all these cliche things that I just hated hearing, because I've been hearing it my whole life. I heard it when I was young because I grew up religious, and I hear AA when I was in my 20s. But when you really embrace it, you go, oh my God. Like, I was very angry at God. That's the beginning. I've been saying that a lot in the meetings, is I was very much, because for one thing, the way my mom died, who she was so spiritual, and then be like, oh, that really worked for her, right? But I'm realizing, like, God never left me. If anything, the times that I was angry at God, he was just having to work harder for me. Because it was like, usually I was like making life hard for him to keep me safe. Like, oh, I'm angry at God, so let me go get wasted and then, walk around where I'm so incoherent, and do things that I'm very ashamed of. There's a lot of things that happen in Manhattan, which a lot of you guys know about. Some of my most embarrassing things right now for like in the last probably 20 years of my life are on YouTube. I'm like, fabulous. You know what I mean? So it takes a lot of humility. It took a lot of humility to get back on here after the Manhattan debacle. And then everything went haywire with the channel. And I didn't want to come back on, because it was like, what's the point? Like, no one's going to believe that I'm ever going to get better. No one, if I do the counting days, like, everyone thinks it was just till she drinks again, which I can see what it is. I mean, it's what I was doing. But it's like, And then, but knowing I really was committed to stop, even if I had a couple of slip-ups, since there was a time that, like, I came back from that New York trip, I think in November, I still struggle with alcohol a bit after November, for sure, but I didn't go back to New York, but I just really knew it was over, you know, especially the shameful behavior in Manhattan when Grace and everybody came. I mean, I was appalled. I can't look at this. I was like, because I don't remember. I actually was watching early on, like the next day, I think it was, maybe even, like when I was still in New York. I tried to get myself caught up and watched a couple of other people sharing the live streams or whatever. Because I think it was all on Kick or something, and other people, you know, shared it to YouTube or whatever. And there was like times I didn't remember even being there, like the McDonald's. I don't remember going to McDonald's, and then I remember going to Brooklyn, but they told me like they didn't know how I passed out in Brooklyn, and then they didn't know how I got everybody home on the subway, and we had to take like, I think it was like 2 or 3 different subway things. Yeah, 'cause we had to change, and I did it, but it's embarrassing that, like, I invited people and I got so obliterated that, you know, they were relying on me to get everybody home, and I did. I mean, if I was driving, that would have been another story. No way would that have ever been able to happen, but we were on the subway, so I got everyone to the stops on the subway. We did our stops, but they were like, I don't even know how Joey did that, considering, like, I'd passed out at the bar in Brooklyn. But I was talking originally, I was like, I don't know why they wanted to go to Brooklyn. I mean, you're in Manhattan for the night. What? I mean, it was a journey, it was an experience, but I'm like, they found it was like way colder. I was like, yeah, because the buildings are shorter. The Manhattan actually blocks a lot of the wind, and a little bit of the coldness when you're walking around. But over there, they have the short buildings. Most of them are only like 6 stories or below. That's like, you can only be 6-story walk-ups. A lot of them are walk-ups, where they don't have elevators. You can't be above 6 stories if you don't have an elevator. That's a rule. Not with hotels. Hotels have different rules depending on the hotels, because I think hotels always have to have a way for the guests to get their suitcases up. But this is for apartments. I don't think they have, there are some hotels, but I think that's more just by people's choice. I think you can have it. Maybe it is still the same, but I know it's with the apartments. I don't know that you guys, some people probably know the laws better. I had real estate in Washington and Oregon, not New York. Anyways, just let my chance out for a second there. Yeah, those what do they call them? The brownstones. Where's my brain today? I love those brownstones. I don't know if you guys. And in Brooklyn, well, they exist in Manhattan too, but a lot in Brooklyn. They're usually, you know, below 6 stories or 6 stories around, you know, not above, and they're brown brick on the outside. Like it's like they're made of brick. A lot of the houses there are they even make them into, you know, they separate them. A lot of the when back in the day, when New York, you know, was first coming about, when, you know, that's where we all first settled, there was a lot more of like class separated the size of the place you got, which still exists now, but let me explain. So a lot of times there was very nice big places in New York that there was very, very wealthy people there, and they had very nice places. You know what I mean? Like insanely, drastically different than the other people in New York that had the tiniest places. Okay, like imagine maybe like a jail cell, you know, size. And we rented a hotel room, I'm gonna tell you guys, in Manhattan that was that way. We had no idea until we got there. We're like, oh my goodness, Cracker Jack box. But there was a lot more where it was extreme. So you had a lot bigger places where people would have, you know, maybe even whole floors and stuff. and then these tiny, tiny places. But as it's gotten busier and busier, they've cut up some of the bigger ones, and they are crunching in even more places. So like now you got like more, if anything, feels like you're kind of starting to have almost more of the people that have less money, because they're just, you know, like you took the, you know, it used to be a whole floor, they'll make that several different apartments now. And so you see these places that are that way, that used to be that way, you're like, oh, this used to be like someone's, a whole unit, but now they're, you know, really, and those places can be really small, because you might not even get in a toilet, you know, you might be getting, some people I've seen where they just, you know, give them literally, they put up, you know, some sort of kind of wall structure, but those like kind of not super permanent walls, but you know, and usually a door, so you kind of have to have that one, but often they have to share the bathroom, whatever, and people are in really tiny little domiciles. But then there's still, though, the drastic wealth in Manhattan, where the places are huge. And you're just like, okay, because when you're in Manhattan and if a place is huge, that is just like, it's astronomical, the amount. Like, I don't ever even try to think of like the price of that place. I couldn't even guess, because it's like, some of them are so insane depending on their location, you know, location. And when people have like, they'll still have whole floors, but those people are like extremely wealthy now, you know, to afford those places. Where I don't think you used to have to be as wealthy to have a little bit bigger place, but now you have to be pretty wealthy to have a nice apartment or condo or house, which is so rare. Those rarely exist. Those are pretty much all been, there's very few, I mean, in the upper, some people have the houses, but you still wonder, is that really just one family? Some of them are, but a lot of them are still, it's a one floor is a family and one floor is a family, you know what I mean? It's not, they don't have like all three levels. But some of those places people do, and you're like, oh, geez, who lives there? But a lot of times people in Manhattan don't necessarily want it ginormous, as Will Ferrell would say. They want it to be very nice. Because the people that live in Manhattan kind of like the idea of making, like, it's like, you're somewhere where you're not looking for like, oh, buying this land with 10 acres. You know, you're wanting to be where the people are. So they don't mind, like, it's almost like you're sacrificing on the size of the house you could have in, you know, Wisconsin for you're living in Manhattan. So like, they kind of like that about it. Like, oh, you know, oh, this much smaller than I could have this, but, you know, so it's kind of the thing about it. But some of those people have some pretty big places. You're like, not much smaller than other places. You're like, good Lord. You go to some of them in Manhattan, you're like, you can't with the price, you don't want it in your mind, because those are like, geez Louise. But I love New York, but it just wasn't good for my sobriety, and it's sad for me. That's why I keep wearing my New York shirts. A little sad, but happy, because it was a lot of stress for me, you know. But I just loved it so much, and I, not the drinking part. I mean, that was, you know, I had its moments, but most of that was terror, because as soon as I start drinking, I get stomach issues. Because I really kept. I take too big a gulps of air, I swear. So, most of my drinking was pretty horrific. Like I would know that there was going to be a very short amount of time that it was going to be enjoyable. But then I would just get stuck, if that makes sense, you know, and then I was addicted. It's physically addictive. It's definitely habitually addictive. And it's definitely, you know, psychologically and like emotionally, where like, I think I kept getting angry too every time I drank. And I'm like, why am I so angry? I'm not that angry. But then I'm like, I was so angry. So the only thing that I really take away in a positive way, besides getting to go to Manhattan, that positive, negative there, but overall positive, just getting to be in Manhattan, that was amazing for me. But because we left, we lived there a year, and I was really sad when we left, but it was time to go. I mean, it was just, it's too much there for me. I mean, just like it is now. But I love it so much that I'm like, it takes a jaw's life to get me out of there. So I didn't think I was ever going back when we came back in March 2022. And I was sad for a really long time. I didn't realize, like, this is all coming to me now. Like, this is just like my epiphanies now, you know, clarity now. I didn't know this at the time, but I was very depressed inside. And we came back to Vegas, and Vegas was slow again, which, you know, what was cool about Manhattan is it was too busy, but it was nice to just like not worry about money and be able to get the things that we wanted and, you know, be able to get what we wanted once in a while. Where now it's like, ooh, you know, watching every penny when you live in Vegas, and especially since we live here, but it's getting better. Vegas is getting better, but it was depressing coming back here, and I think it was necessary for me to go back. But I can see why New York is not good for me again. You know what I mean? And I might go in the future, but I just don't see it as necessarily a good idea unless it's like where I'm feeling really great about my sobriety. So I'm saying like a long time from now. But I just feel like I don't know if that time's ever going to come where I'm going to be like, oh, you know, let me just go and I'm great with my sobriety, but like, why risk it? You know what I mean? But if it becomes necessary for life, but I don't think it will be because life is changing and, you know, Richard's doing his thing now. But I'm still doing, you know, right now the expenses are high with, you know, we had to take over everything over here, and then we have our things. I mean, luckily it's a collective now. We're like, you know, we share we don't pay double rent. I mean, we were always helping Gloria, so when we thought about it, like but this was a 2-bedroom, so it never dawned on us to all live together, because that seemed crazy, 4 people in a 2-bedroom. But we were often having to help her, and, you know, she was having trouble, you know, paying her bills, and it's like there was redundancy there. Or like even like, you know, I remember like, you know, needing like everything, like we need plates and we need pots and pans, but like Gloria has, like, now we came here and it's like we just all share. And for the situation that was going on, like it makes the most sense that we don't have to, because we, you know, like conserve the money, make it for the useful things, you know what I mean? Don't buy 2 sets of pans because we have them at our home and she has them at her home. Like now we all live together, something like that. And Gloria's feeling much better. So she was very obstinate about this cutting out the sugar. But what Richard has been doing is he's been getting her the sugar alternative things. And now she's like, okay, I can handle that. So like she loves these Atkins bars, these coconut ones or something. Richard, she ate the whole box. I think it was only like 4, which she barely ever finishes something. Like Gloria ate like one thing, and I mean it wasn't like she ate it one day. It probably took her like 2 weeks or something, or a week or something, but probably a week. But she'll just never finish things, and we're like, oh my gosh, she actually likes it. And I mean, she'll finish her gum. She likes gum. That's what Gloria loves, chewing gum. But and her coffee or her tea. But like most things, like she just always needs a little bit. And she's like, oh, I want more of those. And so she's actually really liking this. And like last night, I have been doing this thing where I've been trying to not step over everyone's toes as much in the kitchen. And Gloria's been, you know, Richard was taking over all the cooking. But then now that we've been going to the meetings, we back off a little bit in the morning. And, you know, if they haven't had their breakfast before we get back, then Richard will make it. But if Gloria decides to get up and make breakfast, and she's not doing things like pancakes anymore, that's just the house. She knows to make things like protein. Like she does a lot of things like eggs and bacon and sausage and maybe some toasted things, you know, but not like she was doing those pancakes with all that, you know, syrup. It's so much sugar, and it's no good. So everything we're getting into the one of the Truvia, I think it's called. Is that what it's called? Or is that the app? Probably the app. There's some sort of sweetener. So is it Trulia? I don't know, something like that. It's one of those artificial sweeteners. It's supposed to be one of the nicer ones. She likes it. She puts that in her tea and coffee. And Richard got her the sugar-free creamers. You know, she likes. So she's like, oh, okay, I can do this. And Annette has been doing her own thing in the sense of like if she decides to have caffeine. So we're doing half and half with like we put some caffeine Diet Cokes in the fridge and some no caffeine. But then the other thing is we always give her cash. So she today went and got herself a coffee. She goes up and walks up to it. She goes to a couple different ones actually because Nat walks everywhere. But she comes back. I only know because it'll say on the container, you know. She comes home with, and she said, I don't want breakfast yet. You know, then Richard made it a little bit later. But she said, I'm having my coffee. And early on, those things had to go away. So I don't know if you guys saw, I put up that short today. I just felt really special. It came to me today on my phone. I haven't done one of those memory videos in a long time because one thing, they kind of became very redundant and I was just old of them. But this one was very special. I've never seen them put me and Annette together, and I really enjoyed it. And Richard had used a little bit of the clips for something else. I said, oh, I didn't know he had seen it before me, because sometimes we get them both on both phones. Sometimes we have redundant memories, sometimes we have different ones. So I actually go look at it. We have actually 3 phones. One doesn't have, one's just for Wi-Fi, it's an old phone, but it still gets those memories. So I go clip them from the featured photos or the memories, but sometimes they're all the same. It's just interesting because ours, we share some photos and not all of them, but anyways, I really found that special day because it was really like a good day for me. And let me look at what time is it, guys. I gotta pay attention. I know it's not time yet, but I gotta be aware. I don't want to miss my. Oh yeah, it's 1. So, I gotta make sure this goes off of my head in about a half hour here. So I'll make sure I'm not like running in there to answer the phone right after I get blocked. So I'll probably end it in 30 minutes here, you guys. How about that? I had already set my alarms for my thing, but this one's different. Let's see. Yeah, 30 minutes would be good. All right. Maybe it's 35. Let's do 35. I need 30 minutes to get my stuff together. Oh, cancel. 36. All right, okay. So I'm going to talk to I don't want to say her name because I don't think you're supposed to. But also, she has a very unique name. It's not like no one has it, but Vegas is small. Any weirdos would really find her in the phone book or something. Oh dear. So, you probably could find things pretty quickly, if you narrow down the area code and a name and stuff. And I'm like, you never know with these turds on here. that you want to dox people or find out. But I also think it's anonymous, so I'm not sure I'm supposed to share her name, but I'm really excited, and I think it's gonna be really good. I like her energy. She's very calm. She goes with her husband sometimes, but not always. Like today, he wasn't there because she was doing the meeting with this meeting. That they have 2 people that run it always, so her and another lady. But I don't know. I don't know. It was good, and I didn't know how she was going to respond. I wouldn't have. I was so embarrassed, and I said, I almost said her name. I was about to say, be careful. I don't know if I even said her name right when I said it. Oh dear. In the car, I was like, what is it again, Rich? Because she gave me the phone list, and she's like, you don't have this yet? Hold on 1 sec. Of course, people think that I need to. Put my do not disturb, and then I get called. But you can still hear your alarm. I think that goes through the do not disturb. So I go up there because she was, still at they have a desk at this one, or it's a table, but it's kind of like, they sit there like a desk, the 2 ladies in the front, and it's different people, it's not always ladies, it's, one meeting was 2 guys, it's a lady and a guy, it just depends who's running it, but I like that they do 2 people, I kind of like that. The other meetings, it's often just 1 person, so that's kind of cool. The meetings are all different, you get used to certain ones, but we're going to 2 different ones, solidly. We would go every day if we could to both of them. Then we would go every day to both if we could, but we can't. We have to go every other day because there are times conflict. And now they almost don't because one's at 7, one's at 8, but you can't get from one meeting to the other in time. And we thought about okay, Rich going to this, but then I'm like, even though that meeting is very heavily, it's a lot of men in the mornings, and Richard's really connecting with a lot of them in the 7 a.m. one, but I don't want to not go there either. I really love that group, and they, you get a lot of attention when you're new, but I do really feel that people are being extremely nice to me and Rich. Because I've been in AA before, and I didn't remember it being this warm. It's a lot of attention because we're the only newcomers usually in the meetings often. And so it's just everyone Rich and Joy, welcome Rich and Joy, Rich and Joy. And then everyone comes and greets us at the end. And it was a little overwhelming in the beginning, but now that we've been going to the same meetings, they don't do it as much, but still, because we're still the new ones. And that's why I'm like, I'm ready to get my 30-day chip, but because I messed up, and I told them today at this meeting, I told them yesterday at my other meeting, that I was very embarrassed to admit that, because I have to be honest. If it wasn't for Rich keeping me honest, I don't know if I don't know what I would have done, you know what I mean? In the sense of, because it's embarrassing raising your hand for another 30 days. But Richard knows, and he's gonna be honest. And so sometimes people, you know, we've worried if people worry because we're going as a couple, but there's a lot of like accountability of, because like he knows the things I say, like if I'm lying in the meeting in any way, you know, because he knows where a lot of people could be, and no one knows, you know what I mean? You're supposed to be honest, but it doesn't mean everyone has always been honest in AA, you know what I mean? A lot of people admit later they weren't honest, you know, where I wasn't saying I hadn't messed up, but I didn't admit it at first. You know, I sat there for several days before I told everyone that I kept raising my hand, because what happened is I was getting very close to the 30 days. So the group is every day, you know, congratulations. And it was just when we were going to the same meeting every day. And then I started to realize, like, so then I slipped up right before the end of 30, or, you know, getting to 30. And so then I went for about a week, and maybe like a week and a half before, and people were like, shouldn't you have your 30 days now? Like, it was like, because maybe a couple days, you know, I don't know the exact date, but then it's like, wait, not even come to this meeting for like 30 days, hold on, you know, and I thought I heard a phone ringing, but they're not mine. I said to Rich, can we go to another meeting, another morning meeting, and I'll just start day one again. What I was embarrassed about is telling the whole group I didn't make it my 30 days. Like, not that that's that really, I mean, I'm new, but my pride was, I don't want to admit I didn't do it since I've started AA. Like, I was really thinking I don't want to mess up since I've been starting AA, and I messed up. And so we go to this, and we're just like, I don't think we're gonna like not go to that meeting, but yeah, let's just go on to the meeting. So we go to the meeting, and guess what? This was like weeks ago, or yeah, 14 days ago, about, yeah, because I'm at 14 days today. So about 13 days ago, probably 12 days or somewhere around there, we go to this other meeting, and right when we walk in, two dudes from our other meeting, and we're just like, see, you can't run from this. You can't just like go, like want to go, not tell the group you messed up and just start over in the group and just forget about that group. And like, they're literally in the other meeting. Like, yeah, and so it was a real pride thing for me. And when I shared, I was embarrassed, because the group feels like they're trying to lift you up, and then when you don't succeed, they all feel like maybe they didn't do something right, you know what I mean? And so I felt bad, you know, like for kind of like letting everybody down. And I think that's really important. And I actually texted Ava today. I forgot to text her back. She texted me like forever ago, and I've been so just in my own head. I've actually been very depressed, to be honest, Ava. Where I just was sleeping because, well, for one thing, when you first get off alcohol, you're depressed. But also, like, I've been depressed for a long time. Like, I just, you know, really since my mom died. And I just wasn't acknowledging it. And I just was like, I would just, you know, busy around, or I would just sleep all day kind of thing. You know what I mean? It was two extremes. And lately I've been sleeping all day. I was shutting everybody out. I wasn't talking to anybody. And I was not ready for a sponsor, because literally like this lady, you know, kind of jumped on me at another meeting, and I said, sorry, I'll keep your number, because she was already trying to set the time. She's like, Tuesday or Thursday, this was on, I think, Monday. She wanted to meet Tuesday or Thursday, and I said, you know, I just wasn't ready. And I didn't want her to be my sponsor, but I didn't let her down softly. But I felt embarrassed to see her at the meeting yesterday. And she came in, I gave her a big hug, and we acted like nothing, you know, but I think she was a little bit hurt. It's hard for people to not get a little bit of their feelings hurt if you don't want them to be your sponsor. But I'm extremely happy. I'm sorry, I'm going to move back a little bit because the sun is moving. I'm in the shade, which is nice, but then it just doesn't, the lighting isn't good. The sun lighting is so much better. Let me probably move this a little bit for my chairs. Oh yeah, cut myself off now. It feels really right today, and I'm excited. So I went up there, and I keep jumping around my stories. I go up there and I say, you know, her name, and I say, I didn't even say it right because I didn't even, all I had to say was, can you be my sponsor? But I didn't even want to say that because I felt shy to say that because the other girls are kind of, you know, a little standoffish. But this lady raised her hand and she's running the meeting and stuff, which those ladies didn't raise their hand. You raise your hand if you want to be a sponsor. I wasn't paying attention. I was just chatting with them. But I felt very embarrassed after that happened like a couple of days ago. And then I kind of changed my mind about the lady at the other meeting because, you know, she's really busy. And I just, you know, I think she sponsors a lot of people, honestly. And I don't know, I felt really connected with this lady when we went. She's been there for a handful of the meetings, and, you know, she's been going forever there. We just started. I think she goes like every day. But I told her we only go every other day. I told her today, I said, we go every other day, so I'll see you every other day. So I'll see you on Saturday, because I said, we love this meeting. I would come every day, but we also love this other meeting in Summerlin, so we have to go every other day. And we both do. Like, it could be Richard, but even that would be hard because we only have one car. And it's 7 a.m. and 8 a.m. So, like, I can't get to, so, like, how do you manage that? Like, if you rode together, like, because it would, for one thing, they're away from our house. They're not around the corner from the house. So we have to drive about 20 minutes to get to, but one of them is probably 25 minutes, the other one's like 20 minutes. So you gotta leave. So Richard would have to go to the 7 a.m. because he would probably prefer the 7 a.m. and I would prefer the 8 a.m. But I like both. But, like, we'd have to, it just wouldn't work. Like, think about it, with one car, like, either I'm gonna be late or he's gonna be late or someone's gonna be insanely early. You know what I mean? Like, and then it'd be like I'm insanely early and then he has to wait for a long time. Like, you know what I mean? Like, then he has to wait for a whole hour and a half basically after the meeting, just sitting there while probably everyone else is left. Probably close all the doors, so, you know. So, and some days are cold. So it's like it makes more sense for us to do it this way. But we've thought about, like, you know, going to separate meetings from each other, but we're like, it just seems to work this way, you know, because we both like both meetings. I just wish I could go to each meeting every day because it is like an accountability thing. Like I was saying, you know, so like Richard, I have like him, but also the people, like I said, I really didn't want to let down the group and I don't want to do it again. I'm day 14 and I want to get my 30 day this time and not have it ever happen again. It's important that they make you do that. I kept thinking, why do they make you raise your hand for the first 3 days? This is terrible to an alcoholic. Like, you don't want to come back. But when you do it and you get through it, then you don't want to do it again. Does that make sense? That's why they do it. You're like, oh, yeah, okay, now I see the point. Yeah, I don't want to do that again. Because it's not just about, people think it's like, oh, whatever, you know, you slipped up and you're starting again, and, you know, that's AA. They accept that. But everyone in the program is trying to stay sober. So if every 10 days you're slipping up again, they're not going to want you in the meeting that long. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you're not trying. You're not putting, you know, you're just giving up. And you know what I'm saying? So there's that total accountability of like, yeah, I'm going to do this for me and for all you guys, and we're going to do this together, you know, the we, and it's helping. I don't want me to be like, rah, rah, hey, but gee Louise, it's wonderful. I mean, I go there each morning. I've not felt good. I don't know what it was. It was probably just the universe kind of just showing me, because I think I confuse not feeling well with depression. So when I think I'm depressed, I think, oh, I don't feel well. But it's like, it's just this overall, like, there's no sickness, but I do feel sick. Like, I get upset belly, you know, like, because of my depression, like, it overcomes, and I feel everything, like, oh, my feet hurt, you know, whatever. Where when I feel good, I don't notice the things. So, like, those things are always there. But when I'm depressed, I focus on them. But so it's the same scenario. So nothing changed. You know, both days, I didn't even, we had water, I think, before we went. There's no, there's no other stimulant before and after the meeting, and it was like the drastic thing where I literally thought I was physically ill. I told you I was sick today, and like both days I don't know, like I'm sick, and I wasn't trying to not go to the meeting. I literally felt sick. Like I was like, I feel nauseous, like I feel, and it's weird because it's like, I think I do a lot of that to myself with anxiety. Does that make sense? Like I make myself sick unintentionally, you know, with anxiety, where I'm just like, or like focusing on the negativity. Then I think, oh, my back hurts, my stomach. You know, even when I first got to the meeting, I was like, oh, these chairs are much more uncomfortable. And I remember, you know, my back's hurting today. But then in the meeting, I forget about the chair, you know? Oh, yeah, that chair, you know. There is a lady, she has to lay down on her back, which I feel so bad, you know, because you're like, yeah. I remember thinking, I've been to a couple meetings, she's got like a yoga mat. She just lays on her back. And I thought, you know, that's a little disrespectful, you know, sit up in the chair, you know. I'm thinking of that when I first went there. And I'm like, you know, we judge others. And I talked to her 2 days ago, and she says, I have the worst back problems in the world. I could never go to a meeting unless I lay on my back on this yoga mat. She said, first meeting I ever went to, I tried to sit in a chair, and I was hurt for weeks. And I'm like, I'm such an asshole. You know what I mean? And then I was sitting in that chair today, and I'm like, she's got a good point. Because some meetings have more comfortable chairs than other ones, you know? And then I was focusing on the negativity, and then by the end of the meeting, I forgot that the chair was uncomfortable, you know. And we do that a lot. I say we, because as humans, but more like I, kind of tend to want to look at the negative first. Does that make sense? Like I wanted to first judge her. She's a very nice lady. You can tell she's one of those like hippie ladies. There was no reason for me to want to like, why is she laying on? Like I'm a better not-alcoholic. I'm the worst. If only I'm the newest. She probably has years already. But it's weird. Like my brain first went to judging her about laying on the back. Like I thought it was disrespectful. Like, why are you laying? And I just had so many like little thoughts like that seep in all day, that by the end of the day I'm in a horrible mood and I don't know where it came from. And I'm like, well, maybe because I'm like hating on everyone all day long. Like, I like that person. Even Richard has had to correct me many times in life, and I revert back and he corrects me again, because he tends to be pretty positive, and sometimes I hate that. Because I am not the most positive person. I'm really trying to change it. But his positivity irritated me. Because when you're really negative, someone being like really excited and positive is irritating. And it's a terrible thing to feel that way. But you're like, would you stop like being so happy? Like, and this is like, no, I know, but it's like, you know, when someone's like talking a lot and like all jovial, and you're like, just calm down, you know? And Richard hates that Taylor Swift song that says calm down. He's like, why tell someone to never calm down? Like, you know. And so I actually got an argument when I was a kid. We were doing, I was like in 4th grade or something, and the teacher, I'd never get in trouble from a teacher. It was the only time I ever got sent to the principal's office ever in life. I had like a 4.0. I was like straight A student, valedictorian in junior high. I graduated high school a year early when I was a junior. So academics came very easily for me. I don't know, my family is very academically, that was not something we struggled with. I would have gone to a really good college. We didn't have a lot of money, but I already had some scholarships, but I decided to go in the military after 9/11, so I never went to college, so my knowledge is limited, but that's why I married a guy who's much smarter than me, and he went to college. And I realized I needed that because I don't want to go back to college. Like, people are like, oh, I'm like, I ship sailed, but I've married someone who went to some really good colleges. He's a biologist. So I've learned a lot from Rich, and you know, I've taught him a lot about manners and more, because he didn't learn those as much. But I'm so rigid, so he's taught me about not being so uptight. So we, you know, bounce off each other. But and I do enjoy now. Like, there was a time that I was like so OCD, you know, and living in this house was like, now I'm like, I'm so used to like certain things still bother me when it's like, oh, that's gross. But I like been too lazy to get to it, with my own, self-absorbedness I've had the last year for sure. Because I would go to New York and it would take me all this time to recover when I got back here. So it was just kind of useless. I mean, I was doing the bare minimum, like always the laundry, always the dishes, always, vacuuming and things like that. But when you're like scrubbing the walls, or like Richard did all those utensil containers, that disgusted me. I had no idea. I'm like, oh my God. But it looks so good now, and we're loving the new dishwasher. Although Gloria just keeps doing the dishes. She did so many dishes last night, which is so great now. But I'm like, you don't have to. We have the dishwasher now. She didn't do dishes all these years, and now so what I was gonna say, I was saying earlier, she's feeling good. I was gonna leave it for there's a certain time when Gloria's like watching her TV, late night, where I'll go and I'll pick up the kitchen, and she's been getting to it before then, So when I go out there, she's already done like all the dishes and everything, cleaned everything. And I'm like, oh geez, she didn't have to, because what I was gonna do is just rinse things and put them in the dishwasher, But I was planning on doing that, but I was like I've been giving everyone kind of their freedom to kind of like I don't really cook much in the kitchen unless I'm doing my nibblers, but primarily Richard does most of the cooking, and I and Gloria no, but primarily still Richard, but we're giving Gloria like a little bit of freedom in the morning, because like sometimes when we go to the meeting and then sometimes they've gone to work or we had something going after, we might not get home till 10 or 11 or even then usually they've done something by then, and so where normally we would have, made sure, but we'll ask before we leave if Annette's home, and she doesn't usually want something in the early morning. She likes going for a walk, so it's been working out good, but there's a little more like everyone kind of like gets a little more space to themselves, I guess.
Great job today.
All right. Oh yeah, I actually have to end soon because I gotta get on the phone with my sponsor.
You're my queen and princess all in one, says Kevin Bailey.
Thank you, Kevin.
I really appreciate and love you so much.
Thank you, everybody. I appreciate the wonderful comments. I'm actually about to go have my first call with my sponsor. I'm so glad that she said just a phone call at first. The ones that are like, let's right away get together, sometimes it's a lot for me, because just, I don't know, with my lifestyle, it's like, I don't know, I'm very antisocial, I guess, is the term. So, I mean, I'm sure we will get together for sure. But I'm really glad she said, let's just have a phone call first. Like, thank you, like, that I picked the right person. Because the other lady, I wasn't even picking her. She was trying to make me have her be my sponsor. And I felt bad because I was, like, rejecting her. Very nice lady. And I liked her. And she actually just came from Portland, which is so interesting, too, because that's where Richard's from and where we met. So it was like, but her pushiness was too much for me right now. I'm like, I really need someone to kind of like ease me into this of like, because I'm a very guarded person, and if you come at me too hard, then I'll just back off, you know what I mean? Like it's happened with that lady. I was like, sorry, I'm never probably gonna call her unless I really need it. I should never say never, but she wouldn't be my first call, that's for sure. And because she just came at me too strong. It's not her fault, You're supposed to reach out, but some people are very pushy about it, and you kind of definitely have to let someone find their sponsor, Some people force. I've heard people say their first sponsor was forced upon them, and that can work. But I've always chose my sponsor. I had a sponsor actually I'll tell you about her. It was so long ago now. I'm not gonna say her name, but she was on the news in Oregon. And I didn't know that when I asked her to be my sponsor. Like, I didn't know she was, like, a little bit famous. I mean, like, local news, But I didn't watch the local news, but I'm sure if I did, I would have known that. Like, I know the local people here. Richard loves local news. I don't watch the news, but Richard watches it so much that I see it. And so I know, like, all the people. Because we watch it so over the years. Most of them stay, and then they change, but they stay for a while. So I'm sure people knew her, but I didn't know. But, yeah, that was when I was in my 20s. So that was pretty cool. But the problem was she ended up having to move for work. And she said, you should get another sponsor. And then I never did. So that's where that went south. But, so I'm excited for this. That was when I was 22. It was actually, I feel like I maybe even asked her at like my first meeting. It was funny. because my boss brought me to my meeting, at my first AA meeting. This is in 2000. Did I say when I was 22? Not 2022. When I was 20. This is in 2008. In 2008, I was 22. Easy math there. I went in there. I remember it was like, it's so different now that I think about it, because I did everything that first day. I think like it's interesting, but I was already in. I was going to treatment, and then I went to AA. So I had gotten a DUI. So, but you had to go to the AA meetings. But my first meeting, I went with my boss. He brought me because this is crazy. I was working in real estate, and I was so embarrassed when I got a DUI, because you have to tell your work, because it was going to conflict with things, and I was really embarrassed to tell them. And then I go to the court, and the broker is there for a DUI at the same time as me, and I'm like, I'm in a good company, but which is not a good thing. Everyone's drunks at the real estate office, but it made me feel a lot better. Like, but then the owner of the real estate company had just started AA too, and he was the one that took me. He was my boss. Took me to my first AA meeting, and then I met that lady, and they gave me my first AA book, which is the same one as it is now. Richard had the older one. I have the same one. But I don't have my original one. I wish I did. And then I got sponsored. But yeah, I feel, then it was like, it was court ordered, and I was so young that I adapted really well. I stayed sober for many years, but it was leaving AA that eventually I slipped up. So I want to keep going. And even when I first started, because we've been now over 30 days. So we started going to meetings on the 28th. But I messed up on the 22nd. So on the 28th of December, we started going to meetings. And then on the 22nd of January, I messed up. And now I've been back on track since the 23rd. So however many days that is that we've been going to meetings. I don't know if you guys do that. But in the beginning, even of this, like, over 30 days now that we've been there, I said, I have to go all the time to meetings, I'm going to go like once in a while or whatever. I need to go daily. And now I'm like, I don't know what I was thinking. I'm like, I want to go more than daily. We want to do the Zoom for our other meeting. They do it at 7 p.m. It's just a Zoom thing. You can't go in person that one. I thought that, because the morning one, they do Zoom and they do in person. But then there's the all Zoom, and you can be from anywhere. Like, people come from different states and stuff, and those are fun. But I didn't know that whole 7 p.m. meeting is just Zoom, but with the same people. So I think maybe we should do that, maybe even tonight. Oh wait, shoot, what time is it, guys? Did my alarm go off yet? Because we missed that meeting this morning, we went to the other one. We didn't miss a meeting, we missed that meeting. Let's have a little more time. And I like checking in with all them. So I think that could be good. Maybe the days that we can't go to that meeting in the morning, do the 7 p.m. Zoom. But I'm a little very, we gotta find a place that looks decent for us to inside the house, because these people have like a really nice place. And I know you shouldn't care about these things. It's arrogance. You gotta have humility. But it is, that group they're much more sophisticated at the 7 a.m. The 8 a.m. is much more down to earth. So I kind of like having both. But real quality people at both meetings. Anyways, I'm excited. I'm actually feeling really excited. I don't know what, I'm sure she's going to give me an assignment of some sort. Probably starting one of the steps. Step 1, right? Or do some reading or something. I have 3 books, so I actually need this because I've been struggling with, it's very hard for me to just sit down and read my big book. I've been trying to read it, from front to back, but I've gotten to chapter 4, and I need her to give me assignments of things to read, and then that would be very helpful for me. And then I will do that. I'm a procrastinator when it comes to things that like I don't procrastinate if it's the laundry or the cleaning or but things for my self goodness, of reading my big book, that's the kind of stuff I procrastinate on. Something that's fulfilling of a nourishment to my soul. I put that on the back burner. And so I think it's very helpful, and that's why you get a sponsor. because I think everyone struggles with that of like really, and also they make you write something about it. So you really have to like, I'm not just reading and then like how much you read, how do you stop when, it's like, oh no, read this part and then, tell your feelings on it or whatever whatever the assignment's going to be. So you have to really absorb each thing, and that's going to really help me. So I was knowing like it's going too long of like, just kind of like wandering around without like knowing what to read or what, you have your daily readings, but as far as the big book, so I'm really excited today. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys. And everyone's doing good, like I said, and Gloria's doing way less sugar, so she's getting all this energy. Like she's cleaning the kitchen. She was sleeping so much. Like she would go to her class because she loves going to her little workout class, which even when she wasn't feeling well, she'd still go there because it's not much. It's it's the older ladies, they kind of just lay on the ground and lift up their arms and things. It's not like this cardio thing. It's a lot. It's almost like a yoga thing. They do have like yoga mats, but not even yoga. It's just kind of like, okay, let's stretch. Like, it's cute. They're all the ladies are in like their 80s over there. But she loves going to that, which we're really happy when she does. And then she'll sit by the pool, which is already getting pool weather with the sun. But then after that, she was sleeping. This was going on for, on and off, because it wasn't like always, but there was those days where like, and then she would just sleep all through the night and then sleep till pretty late in the morning. Richard would bring her food and she'd get up and eat, and she'd get right back in bed. And we could see that it was when she would eat certain things with the sugar, and she was being very obstinate about certain things. She didn't want to let certain things that she'd done her whole life. Like she used to eat a lot of fruit, but she can't have a lot of fruit as a diabetic. We were getting her more like veggies and things like asparagus and broccoli and collard greens and she's doing salads and things, but she can't have. She can't do all the tomatoes on her salad. She loves tomatoes. She said, no, those are very high in sugar. The tomatoes are actually a fruit. So little changes like that have helped her, because she always went for the very, very sugary things, and as we all do. But those are very bad for her diabetes. And she has all these meds, and we were actually, LCW was texting us the other day, and she's been helping us. We were asking her about some of the medicine because she was a nurse, and she said most of those are actually her heart medicine, because we thought that the diabetes medicine was making her tired, but I guess some of this heart medicine might be making her tired. But she seems to be doing better now, and I hope she's still taking medicine. She doesn't really let us kind of do that. A lot of people like try to say, like, oh, Joy, you should do this or that. I can't really control Annette and Gloria at all. Early on, I could do a little more just because I had to, in the sense of, like, we kind of had to force it, not like, it was, everyone wasn't really happy when we were like telling them what to do. But now at this point, I don't think anyone would listen to me. Like, I can't tell Gloria what to do, or Annette. I mean, Annette just does, like, we won't tell Annette, or we don't really tell her what to do anyway, because we know she gets to, but like, if we really wanted to do something, we ask her, and she'll just be like, no. Like, she don't want to. I'm like, okay. And we'll decide sometimes if it's something really fun, like maybe ask her again another way, and she's like, no, I don't want to do that. We're like, we can't ever force her. And so even things like, oh, you need to brush your hair. Annette she is now she takes a shower every single day. We got the shower fixed so she can take a shower all on her own without Richard having to do the shower. Both of them are broken. Now they're both fixed. Little things like that. It's coming together around here. But so she takes a shower every morning, and me and Rich take showers every morning before our meetings. So and Gloria showers at the gym. But that was something that I was always showering in the morning, but a lot of the other people in the house were not regularly for a while, but now it's an everyday thing for everybody. And Annette, I did brush her hair the other day because she had a real big knot in there, and we got that out. But she really likes doing it herself. I mean, that was hard for me. She was getting me like, I don't, I'm good. And we're just like, no, just let her do it for a little bit. This was about a week ago, because she had this huge knot that we got out, so we didn't have to take her to see the stylist, because we don't have the money right now for that. Because it's $100 for them to brush her hair out, and we can't afford that right now. We're literally like hoping we have, that'd be for groceries tomorrow if we had that. So, but we're trusting God, and that's the big thing with now going to AA meetings. I know so the reason why we're struggling is because I didn't go to New York. Otherwise, we'd probably be doing great, So and we didn't go to LA, and we might go to LA, and we might even go this week, but I haven't had to yet. And I do like going to New York and LA, but I like that I didn't have to for right now. And I think this has been really important. But what that meant is we're on really, skinny pennies, because Rich is just getting started with his stuff, and my job's so sporadic in Vegas, but every day's been working out, and the business comes in as it seems to be needed, but it's not like a whole where you're like, oh, you can just go live. It's right now we're like being very conscientious, and even not going places to not waste gas. I mean, like where it's like when you get where you're on the where you're trying to really conserve, you spend a lot more time at home. But I'm enjoying that more, like I'm really enjoying being home. I think when I was doing my addiction, I didn't really be home. I really kept wanting to like go to a bar or something where I thought was the best place to be. Now, like, there's really no place I'd prefer to be than home. Even Manhattan, I love it, but it's a thing, I don't feel like doing that right now. Maybe in the future, I'm not saying the alcohol part, but maybe like way out future if I ever decide to go back, because I just might miss it too much. But right now, no. I feel really good being home. And LA is a different story. That's only like 2 or 3 days, so that's fine. But, all right, your turn. Yeah, I got to get ready for I'm going to go talk to my sponsor. Oh, and Rich he's in the works. So he's got like 3 dudes where I'm like, I don't know, because I love all these 3 guys too. Like I was like, if I wasn't a female, I would have picked one of these guys for my sponsor. But you're not supposed to pick a male. But it's kind of like all 3 of them almost could be, because they all are texting Rich every day now. But I love all this. Okay, they're all from our other meeting.
Listen. I just talked to him, and he said, "You guys, listen. That group really likes you two. They like you guys a lot."
Wait, which one?
The one we go to.
Oh, the 7 a.m.?
Yeah, he said that. He said, and he kind of said it like in a way like it's like a special thing. Like, it's pretty good.
Right, no, it's an honor. Like, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, this group is not a group that would be okay if I keep starting over with my days. They'd be like, you need to find another meeting, because we're
healthier,
like,
going to New York.
You're not doing what the rest of us are doing, and that's not what we want to be a part. What I mean? It would get old. Like, so that's the thing. I'm feeling pressure to get my 30 days. They're like, each day it's got like, and then they're like, oh, you guys again, basically, because it's like, oh, you didn't do it the first round ago, but here you go. So I'm like, I'm not gonna do it again. So here we go, which is good accountability to have. Okay, here's the microphone. Yeah, we love that group. Did you tell him that we go to another meeting?
I did not, but I told him we have a YouTube channel.
Oh, don't be silly.
I know, and I don't know if he.
Luckily, you told. This is an old guy, right?
Yeah, it's the old guy.
Yeah, don't say it to the other 2. Do not say it to the other 2. The old guy, you'll be fine. He's not even looking at YouTube. The other 2, I don't really want him to go to YouTube.
No, I told him. That's what I said. I said, well, I can't tell you what it is, but What's up, chillins? What's up? Give me like a couple minutes here. I'm just gonna. Let me see if Joy needs lunch. Joy, do you want me to make you lunch? Let me see if Joy needs lunch. Do you want me to make you lunch?
No, you're doing vlog.
I'm almost done. I got other stuff I'm doing right now, though. I don't really have time. Listen, you guys. Okay, I'm gonna make Joy a little lunch. Look at my arm; it's feeling better. See that? Remember this? Yesterday I could barely do this. So these do have some medicinal value for recovery. Sometimes the force flows through you, feels pretty good. Sorry for the heavy breathing, but now my arm's starting to hurt. All right, you guys. Yeah, we have a YouTube There we go. All right, guys. Thanks, Beth. All right. Yo, Carney. Yeah, let's go Dodgers, man. I love the Dodgers. You kidding? All right. Hey, do me a favor. Hit those likes. Ugh.